What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so now that Xdefiant Season 1 has been out for a few days, I know you guys have been grinding and playing a lot, just like me. So if you guys are wondering if there are any settings that you should double check, this is why I'm making this video. Just, you know, it's always good to double check and to tweak your settings to perfection so you could have the best experience possible and to be at an advantage. You know, you don't want to be at a disadvantage, and for other people to have the secret sauce and you're just there using default settings. So without any delay in the gameplay and UI, the only thing that I'm going to be talking about in gameplay is field of view. Obviously, you guys already know this. 100 to 120 is just the way. Otherwise, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And you're going to have to turn way more often. You're just not going to see things on the sides. You're just going to tunnel vision. So play between 100 and 120. Obviously, if 120 is too small for you, or if enemies are too small, then go lower. 110 is nice, in my opinion, but 120 is really just so you can see everything and you don't have to turn as much. Now, the next one that I recommend you guys turning on or using is auto sprint. Now, this is just for the sake of your controller and for your thumb. You don't have to, you know, press your thumbstick like crazy every single time you want to run. You just have to press forward or push it forward and you're gonna run automatically. Now, these are all personal preferences. We're gonna go into the UI settings. Now, you want to adjust your HUD limits or your head-on display. Now, I recommend vertical to be 0. This is just so everything is closer to the center. This is all personal preferences. I just like it when it's much lower so that I don't have to look from the center all the way to the top left corner. I just have to slightly move my eye a little bit towards the left. Now, obviously, I don't want my thing to be towards the center. It's going to be a little distracting. So I just put vertical at 0 and horizontal, I leave it at 100. And so here, these are all personal preferences. I feel like it's always good for you to see your enemy health bars. Numbers are irrelevant to me. FPS display, this is always good. You should always be aware of how many frames you're playing in, for your ping as well, and pretty much the rest is personal preferences. Now, for controller settings, you can use any layout you want to use. Aim assist standard. You could disable it for whatever reason you want, but it's just going to put you at a disadvantage unless you're doing a challenge, then disable it. Now, aim assist strength and follow, I put this at -1. It may seem counterintuitive or counterproductive, but that's just because I don't know if you guys feel it, but the aim assist may feel kind of strong on certain occasions or certain situations where it's really resisting against where you want to aim. And so I recommend -1. Try it out. It might feel very weird at the beginning, but trust me, your aim is going to feel much more natural. That's the word that I'm looking for, because when it's at 0, it's really like robotic. It's borderline aimbot, and it doesn't want to allow you to track or even adjust your aim slightly. So -1. Trust me on this. Aim response curve type, reverse S curve or linear. I feel like they're both good. I've just settled with reverse S curve, and it feels good, so I'll settle with this. Your sensitivity obviously all depends on you. I feel like a 50-50 sense on average is what I see. Some people play around like 45, 44, and I've seen some people play at 60. So I think 40 to 60 is the good average. Try it out. If it's too fast for you, obviously reduce it, and if it's too slow, then bump it up. As for the multiplier, when you're ADSing, I think 1 and 1 are both fair. They're both good. As for your dead zone, your left stick and your right stick, this is just to make your sticks feel way more responsive. But obviously, if your stick is just moving on its own and it's really bad, then you're going to have to bump this up. But 1 and 1 is really, really good. For the acceleration speed multiplier, if you're used to playing COD, you definitely need to put this higher than 1. By default, I believe it is at 1. So 1.50 is going to really make it feel like it's like Call of Duty-esque. So yeah, try it out. Trust me on that. Everything else is off. Controller vibration, no reason for you to have it on. Now, the last settings that I probably am going to touch on are video and graphics. Display mode full screen. Obviously match your display resolution, match your refresh rate as well. This is your own monitor. Triple buffering and reduced latency are both going to be off. Now, I know that here it says improved frame rate stability, but also adds a small amount of input delay, input latency, but this is only working if you're using VSync. Yeah, I'm not using VSync or G-Sync, so this is going to be off. And reduce latency, now it does say that it will reduce input latency but may cause lower frame rate, so it's like they're both countering each other, so it really depends on what you want to use. But I feel that you really don't want to touch with any of those things. You don't want to mess with those things. Just leave it as is. Improving frame rates in any way, like you have a lot of frame rate and you don't want to add input latency or input delay, and here you don't want to reduce it because it may lower your frame rate. So you know what, just don't mess with these. Turn both of these off. NVIDIA reflex low latency, now most of the time this will not make a huge difference, so on or on plus boost, I would recommend both of them. It really depends on your system. You can do your research on this. Brightness contrast, all default. The extol renderer, this will depend on your system, obviously. If you're having any issues with the game, then turn the extol renderer off. Right now I don't have any issues, so I'm fine at on. Graphics quality will be at custom anyways, just because we're going to start tuning and changing things. VSync, like I said earlier, is going to be off. No frame rate limit. So everything here is going to be low or off. Resolution scale 100, sharpening at 10. Everything else low off, like as I said. Object detail, this is just for you know, the details and just for clarity overall. So put this at 100. I mean, it's bugged at 99, but whatever, 199 doesn't really matter. Extra streaming distance, you don't want to use more of your memory, so 0. Everything else, like I said, low or off. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I could talk about. Obviously, if you're colorblind, use these colorblind settings. I just like Tritanopia better than none, so I'm gonna leave it there. And yeah, I think that's all for these settings. Now, obviously, this is not a real accurate representation of how many FPS I'm going to be achieving in game. But as you guys can see, I have 200 FPS. This is just for a competitive setting. Now, the game doesn't look wow on these settings, obviously, because everything's on low or off. But as you guys can see, I'm achieving 200 FPS, and I'm probably going to achieve maybe 20 or 30 FPS less, depending on many factors like the region and just the map and whatever's going on, or whatever action is going on. But yeah, as you guys can see, 200 FPS is solid. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. And if there's anything that I missed, or if there's something that I, you know, didn't say properly, or if there's just a setting that I did not talk about properly, or if there's anything that I need to learn, don't be afraid to drop in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao, ciao, ciao.